Ben ritrovati mercoledì mattina sul floor del New York Stock Exchange. In questo momento indici contrastati, manca in realtà una direzione precisa, ma ne parliamo con il mio ospite qui sul floor, come vedete Gregory Keating, che è Managing Director per James Coffey Securities. Greg, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. So Greg, it seems that we are starting in 2014 in a very slow way, in slow motion. Today, not really a certain direction, and while we see indexes kind of mixed, not a big reaction to good economic data today.
Yeah, I think yesterday was a kind of reminder of how 2013 was like, and we hope that 2014 can remain that way. Got off to a slow start for the year. Yesterday, a nice little bump up. We had some good economic data. Today, we also got some good economic data, but I think that the market is really waiting for Friday to get that, the government jobs report to really see if there's a follow through there. But then, additionally, how do you interpret that? It goes back to that. We know that the tapering is in effect. The cutting back by 10 billion. For this month's purchases. So how is it going to play out from now on? And and the market's waiting for that report on Friday, I feel.
And also we have the earnings season starting. Of course, we're not going to have much this week. We are just starting with Alcoa tomorrow, but next week we will start to see numbers, and especially the market is waiting for the company's forecast, how this year is going to be, how this quarter is going to be.
Absolutely, and I think so much of that relies on how much the economy is going to grow. I think when you got the fourth quarter GDP reports, it's been positive. We're starting to see growth of above 3%. Can we sustain that? If we can, then possibly companies can remain, get that organic growth that everybody's been looking for, rather than raising capital through the bond market and buying back shares and paying dividends to get the stock prices up there. How can we get revenue growth based on a growth in their business?
Absolutely, and we've seen this now already for years. So we are waiting for the market to move on fundamentals, but also companies to grow on fundamentals, if we can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, like you mentioned, it's been quiet, but you also have to look, we get the Fed notes, minutes later this afternoon, and a lot of times we see a lot of volatility based on those notes. A lot of people look for cryptic messages and things like that, what the Fed is going to do going forward. So I look for some volatility.
Especially now, Greg, that we know that Janet Yellen will take the reins on February 1st, and the market really is trying to understand how the FOMC will embrace Janet Yellen. She's already part, of course, of the Federal Reserve, but she will keep tapering. She will be more aggressive.
Yeah, I think, and that goes to what your line of thinking with Janet Yellen. She's typically a dovish, monetary policy remains easy, but at the same time, tapering is in effect. So how will those different types of, how will her personality with the fact that tapering is happening, and will it remain or will it increase and things like that? So the market is definitely going to look for clues on that.
We don't have the first press conference from Janet Yellen until March, so probably until then we're not going to have a clear idea on how this new Federal Reserve will be.
Yeah, absolutely. So short term here, really look for the notes this afternoon, the job report Friday, and then obviously Alcoa kicks it off tomorrow afternoon. But really next week we really get into the meat of the earnings, and let's see how the if the companies continue to grow revenue, I should say.
Last thought, 2014 is going to be maybe not as good as 2013. What are your expectations, though?
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus, right? The economy, if it continued to grow, we're going to see some modest growth. There's going to be some pullback, obviously, with the tapering, less liquidity, if you will, there. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any kind of, despite some sort of macro event that that could be very negative. I see the momentum continuing to take this market higher. Maybe not so much the 28 to 29% that we saw last year, but continue a positive movement towards this year.
We'll see. Thank you very much, Greg, for being with us.
Thank you.
E grazie a voi per l'attenzione e a domani.